I never knew there was a world so full of love and full of hope. 'Cause all I saw while growing up, a world of hate, then I gave up. Mm. Can we all just get along?
I ask myself, who are the real criminals? Those behind the state penitentiary bars, or those that place them there? In my search for justice and freedom, I've come across a very interesting yet disturbing situation, which I'm sure happens in many states and to many individuals. But this particular case caught my eye. The place, Dallas, Texas. The man, Lakeith Rakib Amir-Sharif. He was arrested in 2005 over a mistake the probation office made and an angry ex-girlfriend. He was beaten up by guards, intentionally judged incompetent, spent 3 months in the state hospital, was returned to a filthy jail, released with time served, only to be rearrested 1 month later and recharged with the same misdemeanor and new felony charges. He has spent nearly 2 years in jail, waiting for trial, and without ever seeing a judge to resolve his case. Was finally released from jail in February of 2007 on what was supposed to be a personal recognized bond. Yet he is being subject to the same conditions and cost as if he had been legitimately tried, found guilty, and sentenced to probation. He has a curfew, a $10 fee for every drug test they request, even though this is not about drugs, and gets this $15 a day for probation and monitoring fees. A day! He also on the electronic monitoring program. Now, this judicial system appears to be a money-making racketeer operation to me, more so than about upholding the law. Now, the only crime that was committed here was not committed by Mr. Sharif, but instead by the Dallas judicial and corrupt jail system. No one should ever lose their freedom just because of the color of their skin, or because they aren't able to afford a competent and effective legal representation. No one should have their rights violated or be dehumanized, brutalized, maimed, or lose their life simply because they have been accused of a crime, arrested, and taken to the Dallas County Jail. No one. But these are things that we see daily by the bullifying judicial system of the great US of A. Our system of justice is in obvious and desperate need of repair when the truth is treated as a problem in need of a solution. And our solution is to eliminate truth as a prerequisite to arrest, indictment, and conviction of innocent citizens. We cannot give up the legal nor human rights of the accused, or we risk becoming Nazi Germany revisited. When we deny or blatantly violate the rights of accused citizens, we will soon be sentencing people to prison, even death, without so much as a trial. In our projected future, a trial might be deemed a waste of tax dollars. Then, where will our safety lie? In what has become tantamount to Dallas County's early 1900s lynch mob justice, Sharif has been wrongfully dragged through the jail, state hospital, and judicial system for the past 2.5 years, during which time he has been subjected to unimaginable indignities. He has endured violation of every limitation set by state law, the Texas and U.S. constitutions, and human decency. It is absolutely frightening that this disgraceful crusade, orchestrated during the unethical runaway administration of former DA Bill Hill, has succeeded this long despite voters having bought into the Democratic had enough slogan to elect new officials, including Texas' first African-American DA Greg Watkins and the current judges who preside over the Sharif's cases. One of the DA Watkins' former campaign promises to us was to restore the public trust and confidence in the integrity of the Dallas justice system by purging the DA office of its infamous reputation for dirty dealing, questionable practices, and shady prosecutions, rather than allowing his office to be influenced more by the defendant's race, wealth, than their complicity in the alleged crime. Maybe he just hasn't had time, but Mr. Watkins' promises have not come full circle. The recent exoneration of yet another Dallas County defendant, 13 thus far, serves as further proof that Bill Hill's system of justice was driven by a rush to convict regardless of the truth. Now here are some questions for you. Does truth, justice, and our Texas and U.S. constitutions mean anything for defendants facing our state's criminal justice system? It is estimated that thus far more than 100,000 of our hard-earned tax dollars has been spent in connection with this miscarriages of justice. Why? How many more thousands will be spent in connection with Sharif's 5 upcoming felony and misdemeanor jury trials? If convicted, how much annually for the next 10, 20, or 30 years will it cost us taxpayers to keep Sharifs incarcerated as the DA's office is trying to achieve? When Sharif was unnecessarily ordered to be committed to a state hospital by Judge Karen Green, it was based on falsified court records, a mendacious competency report, and perjured testimony of Dr. Lisa K. Clayton, public defender, Thomas R. Grett, and representatives from the DA office. How much of this did taxpayers have to pay for? Why, at the expense of taxpayers and the destruction of countless defendants and their families' lives, has the Dallas County commissioners, judges, public defenders, and DA office and officers continue to use the services of these so-called forensic experts? Why hasn't someone called for an investigation of these doctors' despicable activities, which are doing nothing but dragging our judicial system into further disrepute? If the police, the DA office, and the judges honestly believe that probable causes or credible evidence exists to justify Sharif's arrest, indictment, and incarceration in jail for the past 16 months, why is it taking years for Sharif's cases to go on trial? How much have all of these delays by the DA office cost taxpayers in the case alone? For 30 months in one instance and 60 months in another, Sharif was without counsel on his misdemeanor charges. Why? How much of our tax dollars has the county paid out of thus far for the wrongful conviction? How much more will the taxpayers have to sacrifice to right the wrongs that are still occurring within the Frank Crowley Courts building? You do realize there are more than 400 DNA applications from Dallas County citizens currently in the TDCJ who say they too are innocent. Will this be made right? There is absolutely no doubt that other citizens have been wrongfully convicted in cases like Sharif's where DNA is not involved. If so, how many and how much is it costing taxpayers? Like Sharif's, there are many more disturbing and wrongful convictions. Dallas County violated Mary Mathis' constitutional rights, including Section 10 of the Constitution of the State of Texas and the 4th and 5th and 6th and 14th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. When the defendant, Mary, made a court appearance on May 9, 2005 before Judge Manny Alvarez, the judge asked the defendant, "Where is your counsel?" The defendant explained that she had informed the court and the DA on Friday, May 6, 2005, of her financial hardship. The judge then had Mary jailed until July